Originally starting in France, Yellow Vest protests have moved to Canada. Many were held Saturday across the country criticizing the tax and immigration policies of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and his government. The protests against French President Emmanuel Macron's government, which began as a criticism of fuel taxes, have entered their fifth week. Over 66,000 people decided to defy the government's orders to suspend protests this past weekend. At least 8 people have been killed since riots began in that country. Similar demonstrations have taken place in Belgium, the Netherlands and the United Kingdom in the last several weeks. They made their way to Canada on Saturday, with protests and counter-protests hitting cities including Saskatoon, Toronto, Moncton, NB, Calgary, Halifax and Edmonton. Protests spurred on by carbon taxes, pipelines in the Maritimes. A small local group of demonstrators gathered in front of Halifax's City Hall criticizing a laundry list of issues including Trudeau's carbon tax. "I have never met even one Canadian that understands how a carbon tax is going to reduce carbon emissions," protester James Hoskins told CTV Atlantic. Another demonstrator, Barry Ahern, criticized Trudeau's summer grant program, which he called oppression of Canadians by our own people. In Calgary, a large rally began outside the downtown Kirby Centre, with protester Craig Chandler telling CTV Calgary that people were upset over pipelines and Trudeau's leadership in general. "Ever since France has been doing it, everybody wants to do it," said Chandler, a member of the Progressive Group for Independent Business, who also called out Calgary Centre MP Kent Hehr. "We want to know from our MP why he's done nothing on the pipeline problem, why he's done nothing on oil and gas when he represents oil and gas," Chandler said. "We want to know why Quebec is getting $13 billion in transfer payments when we're hurting." Hehr acknowledged the difficulties in the city but stressed his government's commitment to some pipeline construction, including the Trans Mountain expansion. "There is no doubt that we want to ensure that when Alberta does well, Canada does well," he said. Meanwhile, in Toronto, a group of about